York, we have 6 times points. How'd you come up with 6, Andy? You guys spin a wheel and it's land on 6?
I don't know.
Yeah, I'm just wondering.
Boy, did you try to put this on me? I'm the content producer, my man.
I was asking a question.
I am not the
I thought perhaps there was a big wheel spin taking place. It's like when we used to have those revolving post times. You know, the Aqueduct revolving post times.
Spin the wheel, make the
never
deal?
really knew which the time we were starting.
Yeah.
It's all in the past. We have a Saratoga Live today from 12:30 to 6:30. Or sorry, 1 to 6:30. Excuse me. On FS2. The first race, the Grade 1 AP Smithwick Memorial Steeplechase. And, you know, remember the gradings, the graded stakes, the steeplechase people grade these races.
Right.
So just so you. And I'm guessing the morning line favorite is Pistol Whipped, who got whipped by snap decision last time. Something that's happened to everybody but Mean Queen. I wonder if he'll be up here. I haven't followed it. Joe Clancy will be talking.
The Mean Queen, right?
Yeah, we'll be talking. Joe and I will be talking about it at about 10 of 1. Liza Hendricks will be in the paddock. And, of course, we'll be opening up the FS2 race, talking about the opener, the AP Smithwick. The second race, big scratch. Probably, I would say, the biggest scratch. Nobody out of this race is the biggest scratch of the card. But I would say the biggest scratch as far as affecting a race.
Agreed.
Was the scratch of a horse that I was against and you were for. And I think that she was really the conversation here, evoking. You have gone to the second choice, Holiday Jazz, Have At It.
Yeah, blinkers go on. This daughter of First Samurai. I don't know. I don't know what happened last time.
Well, she was awful. That's the problem.
Yes.
No,
yes,
I mean the problem with her is that she was awful. So
but I feel like 2 of her 3. I'm going to forgive the race 3 back when she was just in against much better, going a mile and a 16th, which she probably doesn't want anything to do with. Her 2 prior races, sprinting before her last start.
All of her races except for her last race make her a major contender here. She was wide against a gold rail back on May 27th, and she makes an enormous amount of sense. You can take off the single.
Hi, everybody.
Except her last race is so completely atrocious that I couldn't put her on top. And I wanted to put her on top in this race, but her last race was so pathetic, I just couldn't do it. But I agree with you. She's the other horse in here.
And she wasn't my first pick. I thought Evoking was going to be tough today.
We've been through that, right? It's very hard to really like anybody else in this race. I mean, I guess Infringement has a little bit of form. You start to sort of go through, and you got to remember, back on the dirt, I don't think Infringement's impossible here for Randy Persoda. It feels like the kind of horse he often wins with, you know? This kind of race.
These are the races he often wins.
Right. Yeah, that's what I'm saying.
Yeah.
When he wins, because Mariah's Fortune I picked is now going to be a super, super short price.
2 to 5 range, right?
I don't know if she'll be 2 to 5. She's going to be a super short price. I'm not going to narrow it down to a dollar amount. And the reality is, I don't love her.
It's hard to. She hasn't sprinted since her debut.
Yeah,
Everything else has been around 2 turns. She'll cut back now. Yeah, I mean, she's taking a pretty big class drop.
She's first time for a tag.
Yeah.
I have some numbers. Let's see. I think it's first time for a tag at Naira on the dirt. Brad Cox is 11 for 35 with a $2.05 ROI.
That works.
The problem is that includes maidens. I didn't look up non-maidens. I think his numbers with non-maidens are not good, Ant.
Okay.
I think a lot of those may have been maiden special to maiden claim or drop downs. And I forgot to.
Which
do
many
the other
people
one.
consider the biggest drop in horse racing. So.
I've heard that.
Yeah.
Are you one of them?
I don't deal in absolutes. I deal in my microphones just
You've now
all over the place.
Well, yeah, I think the problem is the hair. I think the hair is like throwing off your balance.
You think it's the hair?
It's like a cat's whiskers.
I don't think
you
it's
know
the
when
hair.
they say a cat's whiskers throw off its back, right? You need the whiskers. I think you got a whole thing
You need
going
to leave
on.
my hair alone, man.
I told you I have
I
tremendous.
lost my
hair
hand comb.
envy.
My hand comb disappeared at Belmont.
Day 5, the guy's falling apart.
Acacia even sent the text, "Rest in peace, hand comb." We can't find the hand comb. Richie looked for it. Maggie looked for it. Acacia looked for it. It's gone in the 3rd floor office at Belmont. If anybody sees an orange hand comb, it's mine. It was about 25 years old also.
You'll be able to tell it's radioactive. Race number 3. Race number 3, Jose Cameo has a very big role to play in this race.
He does.
You have the 7, is a Malibu Moon. We'll take a look at the last race at Monmouth. We'll go from the 3/8 to the finish. Where is she here? I watched this race before. She's on the far outside, and that's why I wanted to show more.
She's fourth, I believe.
Yeah, I thought she broke okay, but just, she had a sort of mild steady after the start. She was a little bit wide. Now, it should be noted that this Beyer speed figure was originally a 71 when I printed these PPs, I think around Belmont Day, and it's now a 60 for whatever it's worth. You look at the race, and misspelled Moon with 3 O's for Ray Handel, I want to say,
Yes.
had run here, and they had her moving up significantly, and I'm wondering how good that race was, but you are a fan of this horse.
So this figure's a 60 now, you're saying?
Correct.
I have that same 71 you have. Well, to be completely honest with you, that was the deciding factor in the Cameo horses. I wanted to split them.
Well, but you have them first
Kiara.
and third. You don't have them
Yeah,
first and
well,
second.
I have a little. I thought Kiara was going to run well. We'll get to that in a minute. I just wanted to split the Cameo horses, and the speed fig was the main reason. I mean, this filly ran fine first time out.
She ran okay.
Yeah, she ran fine.
She ran okay. She was a little bit wide. I think worked against her. My problem with her was that she picks up IRAD, and I think it's very clear that we're going to have to be very careful with IRAD's horses.
Yeah.
Especially when you're betting single races. And I know that there's a lot of confusion from people who don't understand the difference between playing multi-race bets and single races.
If you think playing the races vertically and horizontally the same thing, this probably isn't for you.
Well, it helps if you're a hater. And I actually think the other one's better. So, I don't mind the drop down with this horse, even if you thought the fig was legit, because they cost $11,000. I prefer the other one anyway, Aunt Virginia, and we shall show her race as well at Delaware Park. I mean, she lost to Silvery Rill, who did come back and not run very well at Colonial yesterday, but Silvery Rill's going to slip up the rail in this race. Aunt Virginia made the wide run around, and I don't think Aunt Virginia had a bad trip at all. She actually kind of hung a little bit.
Yep.
But Silver Rill was a heavy favorite in this race, so I don't think it's a big shock. And I just thought this one might be a little bit better, getting the switch to Cameo for this race. And I just thought maybe a slightly better price because Santana on and not IRAD. IRAD won 5 races opening week. IRAD may win the meet, but I'm going to say something. If IRAD wins this meet, I think that will be the greatest achievement in his Saratoga wins, because if you look at Flavien Prat coming here, he is the biggest effect on the top jockeys. I think it's fair to say, what does he rate to win, Flavien? 30 races, somewhere in that range, maybe more? What does the winning guy win usually up here, in the 50s?
I think Louis Saez won 50.
I think he had a huge meet last. It's hard to see
53
Flavien Prat
last
winning
year.
less than 30 to 35 races. Where are they coming from? And aren't they going to affect IRAD the most? Because
would
he's
figure
not
a
only
lot of
riding
them
for
are gonna
Chad
come for
Brown.
Chad.
Well, he's also riding for Todd Pletcher.
And he's also
going
riding
to
for Todd
ride
Pletcher.
for other guys. IRAD will be fine, and Steve Rushing, his agent, is as good an agent as there is in the game. But I have to think that he's going to be the one that's the most affected by it, and I think it's going to make it very hard for him to win the riding title this summer.
There were a couple of guys who wanted to bet Irad versus Pratt heads up, just wins, not
Well,
percentage.
IRAD's going to win more than Pratt in all likelihood because
To
he's
me,
gonna
that's a
get the
no-brainer.
auxiliary bit. Yeah.
But yes,
But that's not the
Flavien Prat's
argument.
presence will affect
I'm not saying Flavien couldn't win the title.
the
'cause he
top
could.
echelon of
Terrific
riders,
rider.
but he figures to impact Irad's business the most. I would agree with that.
If he costs IRAD 10 wins, he's going to cost Jose Ortiz if he wins.
Does
He's
it
going to
let
cost
Luis
everybody.
Saez or
if he
Jose
wins, but I
Ortiz
think
or
he's going
somebody
to
else
affect.
sneak
He
in?
rates
Yeah.
to affect IRAD the most. So that's what I'm saying. I'm not knocking IRAD. He's great.
Completely agree with
But
you.
it's going to affect him the most. And they're betting his horses just every one of them's just taking too much money. Now, that may mitigate as the meet goes on, depending on how he does. And he had a good first week with 5 wins. I think Joel has 7. Somebody else have 6 or 7? Did Luis have it? I think Jose Ortiz may be up there.
Well, he had the 4-win day, right?
Yeah.
So,
yeah. He had a great day.
yeah.
So anyway, you wanted to mention Chiara.
I want to use a little
Well, I have
Chiara.
third too. So
I want to use a little. Yeah, I just noticed that. Yeah, I want to use a little Chiara. I thought there was a marked improvement from the first turf race to the second turf race. Now gets another significant rider switch to Luis Saez. And I thought
She did not get a great trip last time.
No, she
not a
did not.
terrible one, but not a great.
she didn't get a great trip, and she ran well enough where I think with the rider change and the fact that she's double digits on the morning line, she probably won't be. But even at 8-1, I think with a couple of strangers coming in, if the strangers don't fire the Cameo horses, she's the one I would want from the local bunch. So you agree? You have a third?
Yeah, no, you and I are. I mean, I think it's very much between the 5 and 7. I don't forget there's 2 scratches that were 6-1 and 8-1. So obviously,
I don't think
not
she was
12
ever
to
going to
1.
be that 12-1 anyway. But I'd be satisfied with 8-1.
Yeah, I don't think she would have been 12-1 either. I don't disagree with you. Race number 4. Race number 4. I disagree with David about this line. I switched my picks because I was a coin flip with the 2 and 6. When you picked the 2, I went to the 6.
Okay.
I don't. If Sweet Franny Lou is 6-1 and the Outsiders is 5-2, I want Sweet Franny Lou every day of the week. Listen, I made this mistake here over the weekend when I mistakenly thought Chad Brown would be a shorter price than the Todd Pletcher horse in that race that he won with off the layoff
The
for
one
Peter
word,
Grant.
the one word horse.
I want to say Shuttles, but it's something like that.
Shutters.
Shutters. I went the other way thinking they'd be similar price or Shutters be a shorter price, and I couldn't have been more wrong.
Todd was 7-2
about
and Shutters was
3-1,
5 or 6-1,
3-1
right?
and 6-1. Yeah.
Yeah.
If Sweet Franny Lou is more than twice the price of Instinctive, I'm all about Sweet Franny Lou. I'm going to show her win 2 back when she beat She's a Mia, and you can talk about why you put her on top.
She was able to do something she had never really done before, and that was come from far back. She had won from just off the pace.
Yeah, neither Tom Morley and I were thrilled during the running of that race because I made a big bet on this day, and we were texting, and about both of us were sort of like, well, we didn't think that would work. And
Yeah, she stormed home.
I think Maggie wasn't here. Was she
That-
coming back from Churchill? I think she was on
Correct.
her way
That was
back
Oaks.
from
It was Oaks
Churchill.
Day.
Yeah,
Her and Tom went down there.
I
Oaks
think
Day.
I was
correct.
text. She was watching the airplane or something. I think.
Yeah, this filly ran huge. There looks to be plenty of pace on here. I mean, her last race, she got bothered early, less than halfway through, and her day was over. I'm not going to hold anything against her from
Well,
last
just
time.
to be clear, she was removed from the race.
Yeah.
A horse in front of her was like pulling up and just took her completely out of the race.
Yeah.
It isn't a question of she had a little bit of trouble.
No,
she was literally
eliminated from the race.
eliminated from the race.
Yeah.
It's not an exaggeration
Her
to say
day-
that.
right, her day
she
was
was
over.
eliminated. So you can draw a line through her last race, and that's why. And I think people will know that. I don't see how she's 6-1. I don't see how she's 6-1 and Pure Bodie is 7-2.
I don't understand that either.
I don't think it's possible.
But he's right. David's
I'm not-
right all the
David's
time.
lines are great, but he's wrong about this one, I think. No, listen, maybe he'll text me.
I think he's wrong about
he'll
this
probably
one
text
because
me and tell me why.
I think
why,
he's
why
wrong
I'm
about
wrong.
this one for the simple fact that if you watch Sweet Franny Lou and what happened last time, and you draw that line through, you see a race where there are a lot of horses that look like they're need-to-lead types in here, and she's a horse that showed you 2 back that she was able to come from a considerable enough distance back, and she also has enough tactical speed where if some of the other speed does not go, Jose Gomez
Well,
is
it's hard
certainly
to
gonna
see
have
Jose Ortiz not going without a sight in this race,
Right.
and it's hard to see. We'll see what a bit of Irish stats. It's so hard to know.
She
when
kind of
they're
ran
going-
off last time,
going.
right?
Well, yeah, she did run off. No,
Yeah.
you're 100% right.
But the versatility of Sweet Franny Lou having that tactical speed makes her even more
I'm a
dangerous,
fan.
I think.
I think
Yeah,
her
me
good
too.
races make her the horse to beat in here a lot of ways. I do not believe there's any chance she's going to be a bigger price. I'm curious to see what price Home for Christmas is because to me, she's the reason to bet this race. Now, 4-1 is probably not the world's worst price on her. I think she's probably about 8-1 to win this race. Her last race was atrocious. She's never going to win this race based on her last race where she walked in the front end. And New Guinea, she certainly flattered her the other day. I mean, she's about the 8th pole right now, right? Or she'd run a step. Am I wrong?
No.
She was terrible. I thought she was 1 or 2 horses to win the race.
See,
She
like
her
you,
last race is awful.
I almost think you could flip-flop the prices on Sweet Franny Lou and Home for Christmas.
I don't know. It's Joel and Christophe Clement, so I'm not sure how big a price they can
Maybe.
be. I think, what do I think? I think Pure Bodie's the one that's too low. And I also think Instinctive's too low. I know David's Instinctive's biggest fan. But Instinctive had different trouble in that race. Instinctive steadied early in there and lost a good 2 to 3 lengths and was wide and just never really recovered from that. So I can give her an excuse. I mean, you look at her race 3 back, it's going to beat this field.
Sure.
And her race 2 back, she was 2 to 5 against nobody at Parks. But she's got other races. That race to Timeless Journey and Marvelous Maud. I can see her being shortish. I don't think she's going to be that much shorter. I'll be curious. He's got out of sight favored here. You and I all with her third. I don't know. I mean, it's not like an easier pace scenario today, is it, Ant? Sorry, I didn't mean to interrupt your call.
It's
that-
not a call.
That
It's
somebody,
not
the
a call.
president, is Biden calling
I had
in?
a stat coming in.
Tells you doesn't like
I
your.
had an emergency stat coming in. I think there has to be pace in here, no?
Yeah, it does. So I don't think that helps out of sight.
No,
I
absolutely
think out
not.
of sight.
Absolutely
not that out of
not.
sight needs to lead the win, but I think David's checking in. So let's see what David
The
says.
inside draw, obviously, I mean, I'm not solving the Sphinx here. The inside draw gives out of sight the advantage, and the fact that I think of all of them in here, she's the one that has proven she needs the lead, right? Like Home for Christmas can't see the lead, but she's one from off the lead.
We're gonna
Instead-
get to that though.
Okay.
The inside draw doesn't give her an advantage. David said he mostly has Refrain Lou because the riders. He thinks they'll bet riders, and Gomez sucks.
That's fine.
We ran 9 races on the inner turf opening week. So people that don't realize, we run all of the sprints on the Mellon. So any inner turf race is a route. One of them was a 3-turn. The other 8 were 2 turns. 7 of them basically fell apart completely. One of them, the winner, the last race on Sunday, was the favorite and was sitting 3rd. The second horse came from way back. The speed finished 3rd. So it's more of a closer's race. But
That was
in
a
the middle
bottom-level
somewhere.
maiden race, right?
Well, I don't know. I was on a TV show with a bunch of people that were sure there were going to be a bunch of horses claimed in that race. You could have got your whole 108 lunches back at betting on that insanity. But
Claimed out of that
the only
last race
race,
Sunday?
yeah,
Wow.
nobody's getting claimed that race. No chance.
No.
And nobody did. The one race that was one wire to wire was that race on opening day, where maybe the best horse, or at worst second best horse in the race for Clement, the one who had trouble for Blue Devil the time before that, Belmont. I want to say Chiara, but it's not. The horse that won went at the lead. Javier went at the lead.
Canisi.
Canisi, when the speed scratched the gate, and Javier
Right.
was paying attention, unlike some
4
other
scratches
riders.
at the gate, and Canisi just
and
went wide. They ran 1-2 around the track,
Javier's
right?
probably the best rider in the game at identifying speed horses scratching the gate and going with horses without speed.
Calling audibles is so
He
important around
he
here.
is as good at
Yeah.
that as any rider I've ever seen. A lot of other riders don't seem to be as clued in, but he is. Sorry to give away your secret. That race went wire to wire. Super Soul's Wave and Customer List, who's a closer, got an atrocious trip in there.
Yes.
And ran 4th. So, but so the fact that out of sight is the inside speed is very possibly not to her benefit. And the rails were at 9 feet on the inner last year. They are at 9 feet through Friday, at least according to the overnights. So it's something to pay attention to in these races, and that's something that would help Instinctive, to be honest.
Yeah. Oh, absolutely. Yeah. The historical trend up here is you want to be inside and you want to be close to the pace on the inner, and that has been completely bucked.
I don't know if that's
So
the
far.
historical trend here. I think it's only more interesting because the turf is so firm, and I think people often attribute that to being speed. How much that's been the case, I'm not really aware, but I know it's been distinctly different this year. Now, listen, there were 9 races.
Right.
But it is pretty amazing that 7 of them were collapses, and one was a mixture, and the other one was inexplicable why the pace held together. That's unusual, and I had started noting it in track trends, and as the week wore on, it seemed like it was more than an aberration. And there were also some big prices in there. It's not like they were
Plenty
short-priced
of big
horses,
prices,
so
yeah.
it's a lot of stuff going on. Race number 5 kicks off the pick 6. Were you surprised everyone was covered in the pick 6 on Sunday?
I'll tell you one thing. I was surprised at that, and good job by you folks. 210,000 on a non-carryover day.
Well, 200,000 a payout pool.
Yeah.
Which means 15% take and a quarter coming out after that. They bet over 300.
Yeah. Good job, everybody. Yeah, there were like 4
job
or
if you
5
hit it.
horses that were pool jobs, and what did it pay? Pay like 17?
No, I think I could be wrong. I thought it was 40.
Wow. Good for
I
you.
thought it was 39. I could be wrong.
That's
I could be
that's a
mistaking this
giant
with
number.
Saturday, with the favorite on Saturday though. So I'm not.
That's
I'm not
fantastic.
sure.
Yeah.
So okay.
That
so,
dollar pick 6 pool is fantastic. I'm a big fan.
So well, what's fantastic is that we got away from the jackpot.
Well, yeah.
And if the entire industry would get away from the jackpots, it would be better for their business, and it would be better for the customer and the bettors,
More
because
importantly.
they build carryovers on the backs of small players and give them to big players. It is so bad in every way. It's bad for churn. It's bad for the racetracks, and it's terrible for the customers. And I would say in my life, on
We
the
don't
racetrack,
agree
the
on
worst.
we don't agree on much. We agree on that.
Talk about bets are in my lifetime, the single worst thing that's happened in the betting menu. So many things have improved, but that is a disaster. And as soon as the industry gets away from that, and I really wish they should, and they should, And I'm very proud to work at Naira that we got away from it. I
Agreed.
wasn't proud we went to it, but I'm very proud that we changed course and showed the ability to do that.
As
Race
quickly as we
number
did as well.
5. So what did you do in race number 5? Well, you've got You Glow Girl. Let's talk about horses that ran first.
Okay.
Talk about Numero 6. I got no knock on this horse. I thought this horse actually ran very, very well in this
I believe
race.
it's seis.
Oh, okay. I'm sure you're right. You're always right with us.
Spanish for
Or
six.
Seis. Doesn't Numero 6 sound better?
When it's an actual.
This horse I thought ran
term.
really well. Kind of got sort of shuffled back a little bit when she couldn't keep up between horses a bit, and then she got around and she re-rallied and was running at the end. I thought she ran fine in here, and I do think she's the horse to beat. But I went to in another direction. But I'm not against this horse by any means. You don't have the 3.
I
in
don't.
your
I
top.
don't like any of the runners.
What?
I don't like any of the runners. I have a mild tip on Ken McPeak's horse.
Yeah, there is a story on Kamek B. Horse is working well. I should have put the horse 4th.
I have a
I had it 5th.
mild tip.
I heard the horses. Well, the tip. I mean, you have a tip. I know this. I think David told me this horse is working. David or Nick Tamara, one of the
Okay.
two of them. I seem to be getting the two of them mixed up a lot because they do look very similar.
Had a friend tell me the horse of Joe Sharp's on the rail is training very well at the training center.
Okay, that I know nothing about. That's more of a turfy dam side pedigree.
The Brad Cox. So this is one of those restricted races.
Now you don't have a tip on Brad Cox.
I don't have a tip on
So
Brad
why
Cox.
do you like this horse?
Hold on. It's one of the restricted races. We have upped it from 45 to 50,000 this year, and you'll notice both the 2 and the 3 are the 6 as well are all eligible for this race because of that $50,000 watermark at this point. To me, You Glow Girl looked like a horse that Brad's horses have come out running here at the meet so far.
We want a stake.
Looked like
Do you want a race besides the stake?
he's won a couple of races. Looks like this horse is training well enough.
Oh, he went with
down
that
at Keeneland.
drop down, yeah. Right, 3 to 5.
I was then my man, the coach, gave me a stat which is not very good. 1 for 15 last 5 years. First is on the dirt at Saratoga.
I was about to read that stat.
The one is British Idiom in this race.
The worst 2-year-old champion probably
Hey,
in my lifetime.
That's what. Listen, I'm not going to sit
1
here
for
and
15
knock a
with
champion.
a 60 set. I'm not knocking. How did she do as a 3-year-old?
Terrible.
What were her figs? She was.
Like I said, I didn't like anything that had run
Okay.
so far in here.
Brad
I-
has terrible numbers with these kind of horses.
Yeah.
Terrible numbers up here. I hear you. Listen, I'm not. Anything could happen. I don't. I disagree with you about the horse that ran. I think the horse, and I think they're always going to have an advantage. We saw it with that horse of Wesley Ward's that won on opening day. I'm going to take what's it called?
Ordinarily, I agree with you. I was going to interrupt you for 1 second, but none of these have much speed.
Well, wait.
and
a
I
sec-
think
wait.
more
Wait
of
a second. The forest speed. What do you mean? What are you talking about?
I don't trust
That's
the
what-
Monmouth form as far as
Okay,
the speed goes.
so you went from not having speed to now you don't trust the Monmouth form.
I mean,
Well, I don't
she
know.
showed speed for-
How did the horse that won that ran second in the Sanford? Didn't that horse come from Monmouth?
was he anywhere near the lead?
Yeah, it was tucked in right behind off the lead. Yeah.
I don't remember that.
I don't. Okay, you and I can agree to disagree.
Yeah.
I'm not
I
sure why that
didn't
makes
like
sense,
anything that had run in
but-
here.
all right, it's fine. That's fine. This was an interesting race because there were 2 Todd Pletcher horses in there. The horse that ran second was a Todd Pletcher horse that was 9-5. The horse that was 4th was a 6-5 first time starter that cost $690,000. Whatchamacall broke a length slow and was 3 wide entering the turn, 2 wide after that. I actually, this is also, I believe, a private purchase since that race, which I find kind of interesting, that somebody bought us out of the race. And listen, you were the guy
Well,
that,
the owner-
you're the
no.
one that pointed out Jose Cameo out to me at Belmont. You were right.
The owner's listed as Jose Delgado, who was listed as the trainer last time. So I'm assuming.
But I don't think he was listed as the owner last time. But you're right. There must be someone involved.
Yeah.
That's weird. Maybe,
So-
but it was definitely a different ownership listed. Let me see something. Oh, is that what's listed in the program? Yes, it is. So yeah, I don't know the story. I like that horse. What about Leave
Great
No
name
Trace?
too, right? Whatchamacall?
Yeah, the great name is Leave No Trace. I know it's Irad. Irad riding for Phil Serpy with a 47 work.
Dan was 4 for 21. All those wins came on the turf. She only tried dirt once.
There was one foal though that was okay in the dirt.
Yeah. I think you got to be careful I'm glad you said this too. I think you got to be careful with the Arad riding for X, Pratt riding for Jose Ortiz riding for Y, because Luis Saez riding for Z. Because these guys are all trying to win the title, and I think they're going to do things up here that they don't ordinarily do the rest of the year.
On the other hand, I think it is noteworthy to see the Iraz riding for Phil Serpent.
Right, and the fact that in the last,
that's not why I like the horse.
the fact that for the last in 2021 and 2022, when he does ride for him, he's 2 for 4. I think is also worth noting.
Yeah.
That's fine, but I'm just saying, don't get too. I wouldn't get too caught up. If I were you, I wouldn't get too caught up in that.
I think that's fair,
Not
and
you,
the Iraz
them.
getting bet, but I do think it's noteworthy. Anyway, you don't like the horse that ran? I do. That's race number 5. We'll come back with a late pick 5.
For almost 150 years, the Saratoga name has been synonymous with the finest quality, sustainably sourced spring water available anywhere. Saratoga carries on the rich tradition of its forefathers by crafting each stunning blue glass bottle with the same attention to detail and care that has been its hallmark for generations. Visit SaratogaSpringwater.com today or ask for us by name at your local market or restaurant. Saratoga Spring Water. Make every day exquisite.
Welcome back to Talking Horses. Anthony and Andy. Race number 6. So, Happy Farm, for some reason I wrote down Happy Town, but it's Happy
Copper
Farm.
Town and Happy Farm. That's why.
Sometimes I send these videos at very strange hours.
Did you sing Copper Farm in?
Late. No, I sent in Happy Farm. We'll take a look at the last race. Listen, Happy Farm is going to win if he runs his last race. in all
Absolutely.
likelihood.
But is it?
I know that 3-2 Zone didn't run his race last time. He certainly ran it on Sunday's card, however.
he did.
He ran terrific. He got a
Carved me.
99
He had to carve me up.
Well, I mean, it was not a good ride by Irad on Sound Money, but I still don't know the horse was best anyway. I just don't think he helped the horse.
I agree with both of those statements. I think the problem with Happy Farm at this point, and he can obviously, if he runs his last race, he will win. You're 100% right.
Probably. Where'd it come from, though? Maybe there just was a bad race.
So
Maybe nobody ran.
A, where did it come from? And B, he's going to do this again. At this point in his career, I want him to show me that he can do a back-to-back. He can absolutely win, but
So why do you have the 5 aristocratic?
I mean,
on
he's
top?
got to just be gone. I'm not worried about Coppertown. Coppertown's last 2 starts since last year, he does not have the speed he had.
Oh, he
before.
can't run with him.
And he can't run with him anyway.
And I don't think Happy Farm, after winning from
No,
off,
he's going to come from. He's made his bread and butter lately. He's been coming from off the pace. Now aristocratic's gone. He had to deal with 6.5 the last 2 times. Look, when this horse runs 6 furlongs against this type of field, he wins.
I don't love Horse's Claim from Charlie Baker. Having said that, I found a sort of esoteric non-stat stat for Robbie Falcone, which we can show. 4 for 6 with 6 in the board. He has a second and a third. We got to get a better picture of Rob.
Yeah, who cut his hair in that picture?
Rob,
I hope he doesn't go to him
Rob,
anymore.
we need a new picture of you. Please report to the.
Wow. Somebody get to the paddock and get a picture of
what's
this
going
guy
on with
today,
that
please.
picture?
Oh, my God.
Rob's a far better looking gentleman than that picture. I don't know.
Wow, 1990 call. They want the hairdo back.
That is some.
He wasn't even born when that hairdo was popular.
And he's Anthony's friend, by the way, so Anthony can make fun of him.
Wow.
Look, it's a 2 to 4 months off the Claim in the Dirt. I don't know. Maybe he's going to go over his next 10, and the saddle fall into line. But I thought that was a little bit interesting when he gives them a little bit of time and they come back. They've run well, and I agree with you. I thought it was going to be loose.
Yeah.
And I just don't like the horse in this race. I
Me
mean,
either.
I do think Prince James will benefit from cutting back. Dave Donk off the Claim, a great year he's having. You're getting a horse from Rob Atras. He's 0 for 17 off the Claim. Coppertown should have won last time. I mean, the Canterbury did a great Belmont, but this horse should have won last time. I know you got Wendell Fung. You and Chad Summers made up. It's a beautiful thing. It's a beautiful thing. I wish I had a hanky. Do you have a hanky?
That has nothing to do with it.
No, we didn't know it is because
has nothing to do with
you were back on the Chad
Andy,
Summers band.
This horse is coming out of races.
I am allowed to tease you.
This, of course, this horse is coming
I
out
know
of
it is.
races that are just.
But his form is abysmal.
But
No, I've got him
I
somewhere
don't.
in there,
I can't
don't I?
trust. You got him 4th. I can't
Yeah.
trust Happy Farm to come back to that race. I don't really
I'm
like Prince
teasing.
James.
He can absolutely,
yeah.
he's absolutely usable in this race.
He has- I mean-
he's only 4 to 1 in the line. It's not like he's
And that's what I mean
I'm
too.
just
Like
teasing.
he's the horse dropping now. There's some other Happy
horse-
Farm's the back class of the field, but he's the horse dropping now. And the funny thing is, even off that drop with somebody, he's going to be quite frankly, because of Chad, he's going to be the 4th choice. And I think if he runs his race, he's got to be right on the money today. I
you don't
almost
think
went
Prince?
on top. If there was anybody else that could have kept Aristocratic company for
This
3
is it.
seconds,
I'm getting emotional.
I would have
here.
picked them.
I'm verklempt. You don't like Prince James at all cutting back?
No.
No?
I'm going to tell you why.
This is your
I
kind of
never-
horse usually.
Yeah. Rob couldn't get. I know Rob
I
runs
know
won
it's
some decent figures. Rob couldn't get him to win, and
I think he's dangerous at a price in here.
I mean that one race he won was on a souped
Okay,
up
I'm gonna
racetrack.
do something. I'm gonna do something that I shouldn't do, but I am up 108 lunches. I will bet you one lunch.
Okay.
I will take 1 over 4
Beautiful.
for one lunch.
I appreciate that. Do I get a bonus lunch if Wendell Fong wins?
No. Look at this guy. I'm being generous and kind up here.
I'll give you 2 bonus lunches if Prince James wins.
No.
All right.
No.
3.
I should be getting 2 to 1 to lunch.
3.
9.
This is Name That Tune? Who'd I hit with Name That Tune the other day? Acacia.
I was trying to teach somebody to play
Acacia
lyre.
did not know Name That Tune. How terrible is that?
She knows everything else, so she gets a. I was trying to teach somebody. Yes, he's about 10, to how to play Lyra's poker the other day. It would have helped if I was 100% certain of all the rules.
When Kieran McLaughlin was a jocks agent, I used to go and get him singles, and they would play in the jocks room. The jockey agents would play, and I would always grab Kieran the best singles because he was the best tipper. And yes, I would give him the singles before I'd give them to my own father. So
Kieran is so happy to have that story shared.
Kieran didn't know. Oh, Kieran didn't know.
Race number 7.
That was me being a scoundrel at 10 years old.
Race number 7. So I took the old cop-out way, and I put the old best horse on top here with Hey There.
Thought he
Now-
was, as you would say, thought he was ginger ale last time, didn't you?
Yeah, Frosted Oats isn't great, but he's not. We can show that
She's
race.
okay.
Get the 2 ugly dudes off and get the race on.
She didn't have the best trip 2 starts back at Churchill, and then she.
But she ran fine in that
Yeah.
race. Her last race was very good. She's coming back at 5.5, but I thought she was just very, very logical in here. She's going to be the favorite, I assume, and I just thought
She's, I believe, 2 to 1.
Hey, Glenn, tell the guy to stop with the tractor while we're on the
Is that
show.
a mistake? Is she 2 to 1?
She was 5 to 2 on
5
the
to
morning
2.
line.
Okay.
Yeah, I don't think there's anything clever about her in here. The horse I'm just not thrilled with is crowding out. But I'll say one thing: this would be a good time for crowding out to center the lead.
Right to the lead.
Because I'm not sure that Ballydove is that fast.
Me either.
And we'll show Ballydove's last race, and I'm going to tell you something: I don't like Ballydove at all. This
Me
horse
either.
wins, I lose.
Me too.
This horse took a cleared out and opened up in the stretch. This horse is not supposed to have lost.
I know
this
it was
race.
a year plus layoff, but
I
this
know.
horse is not supposed to lose
Wesley
this race.
wins off layoffs, and this field is just much better than the one that she,
Much better.
I don't like this horse at all, and I think if crowding out gets the ride that she's supposed to get, then she's not going to see the front
It's
either.
scary here. You and I saw this exactly the same. I would imagine crowding out, she's going to come out of there guns blazing.
Got
That's
to.
what I
He's
would do.
inside. He's got
That's
to.
what I would do. That's what I would do. But Arad's won a few more races than I have. So
Do you know who the trainer of the dam of the one was? It's very important that he makes 9 laps during Talking Horses.
No.
Rick Violet. We are running the Rick Violet tomorrow.
That's right, we are. I
The late, great Rick Violet.
don't remember that horse.
I didn't either. I looked it up. Kalabaka? You remember? I remember
No.
Kalabaka. I just didn't have a strong memory. I remember because the name's
No.
kind of funny. So
Listen, this is a continue. I am being as forthright as I possibly can with you here, folks. This is an absolute continuation bet for me from day one when I put this horse second.
you
to
have been
stand
wrong
the
by this
map.
horse 3 times, so why
I
not
have.
4?
But I'm getting
I'd
one
rather
of my
go second,
favorite
by the
things
way.
in life, and that's a rider change to Joel Rosario. This horse is cutting back. This could absolutely be a frustration move by the barn after running this
Well,
horse.
no, it's a Fastnet Rock is probably a better sprint
Hoping the
sire.
horse- right.
It's cutting the horse back. I get that. The problem that I have, and I'm using this horse. I
Yeah, well,
I don't
we have
disagree
the
with you.
race exactly
yeah,
the same,
I don't,
except the top 2.
I don't disagree that this horse can win. The problem I have is this horse is woefully slow. This horse is
But that's what
slow
I'm
in
trying to say.
distant
This could
races,
just be-
and these are not great
Right,
turnbacks.
she ran naked first time. She had blinkers second time. Blinkers came off last time. Now she's cutting back. This could completely be a hands up in the air kind of move. You may see him in for 40 before the meet's
the
over.
pedigree suggests that he was probably wrong never to try her sprinting. Now, one of the reasons he might not have is that he knows she has no speed, and that
Right.
may have been the problem.
Right.
But I think it would be foolish to leave that horse out. That horse ran against good horses, ran decent figures, and I don't think you. I mean, it's not the kind of horse I want because the cutbacks don't usually work. But I think, and that horse ran 8-1 morning line. I think you're absolutely right to pick it. I think it's a good pick. By the way, I don't care if this horse loses. I don't think it's a bad pick. I think this is a horse that you must use in this race.
She owes
Especially
me, I'm
8-1.
just letting you guys
if
know
she
up
were
there,
7, well, you always
she
like
owes
this
me a few dollars. So I'm taking one more
She
chance
doesn't know you
with it
anything.
today.
You've just had a bad opinion
Yeah.
on her.
Wow.
You didn't get unlucky. You didn't.
No, I literally went to the barn and lent her some money.
Video. The horse in the pedigree in here, by the way, Grand Motion's horse, Meander.
Yep.
Dam was 4 for 14 at the board 8 times. Ran 87 Buyer, was pretty good. She's not been a producer,
No, she's
but
not.
Meander has some pedigree.
She's
She's a good race.
She's by Quality Road. Yeah, it's an interesting race. It's a fun race. Especially if you think, like, we both seem to, that 2 of the horses that are going to take money, Crowding Out and Ballydove, might be a little vulnerable.
Race number 8.
This guy's really going to go around again?
Yeah, this is ridiculous. Honestly, this is embarrassing.
It's aggravating me at this point. It takes a lot to get me aggravated at this point.
Stupid. Well, it's also thoughtless. Race number 8. For those of you who aren't aware, the number 2 Smash Ticket will take winning at Lone Star last time out. We'll take a look at that race at Lone Star. This horse probably would have won the Jersey Girl, but there must have something went wrong. 'cause
Victory
this horse
Ride?
was Victory Ride. We can go to Lone Star, and then I can text Glenn.
She was a later scratch in the day, correct? Right, she was not out
Wait.
with the first set of scratches, I don't believe. Lone Star Park, guys. May 30th. Bueller. There it is. Yeah, this is her with trainer Todd Fincher off of an August layoff. So she'd been gone just about 10 months at this point. She got Lasix that day, and a 92 Buyer figure. You see her winning here by 11 lengths. She was 1-2. She was running in a 2 lifetime allowance contest at Lone Star, and I do get it. But she has 2-year-old figures, Andy, that can certainly, as we are back on,
I'm gonna. I have
certainly,
to stop this.
I got it. She's 2-year-old figures that made her competitive. If she comes back to that last race, dare I say she improves, and now she has 7 weeks
Right, and
from that
well,
fig,
well,
removed
also,
from that fig.
For people that are saying, well, that was Lone Star last time. Okay. She ran a 78 Buyer at Del Mar
That's
as a
what the 2-year-old
2-year-old.
figures-
So she's already shown that she can, but
Absolutely.
also at a major racetrack. And I'm not saying Lone Star's a bad.
Right.
I'm just saying people may see Lone Star, and it's fair to say
And it's good
that she
to
run that
compare.
number.
It's great to compare because at Lone Star as a 2-year-old, she ran a 76, went to Del Mar and showed that it was no fluke and actually improved a couple of points.
Make a great point.
So, I mean,
The
she
chances, by the way,
just
and
makes the chances she's fine. This is like an out of town morning line.
the chances that Anthony didn't have Faraway Love in his top 3 picks here, they actually didn't even exist. That was a 1 to 1,000,000 shot that you wouldn't have. This horse.
Aren't you kind of sick of the rest of these horses?
No, not sick enough to put this horse who was running in Argentina. On the last race was a 1.25 miles. It's quite a turn back for Bill.
Gallop first time out at 6.
Is there a
Did you get
story
did
on
you
this
get
horse?
did
You
get
just
that-
couldn't
I don't know
resist
the story.
Bill
I didn't like
Martin.
the rest of them. Did you get any 880 down at the Hippodrome first time out?
No, I bet the second time the stretch out. Juan Manuel Echecorri is unbelievable stretching out off a maiden win. What?
Oh man.
Yeah, you haven't been clued into that move? You kidding me? Yeah, I crushed that numbers, right? We weren't back. You know why you didn't know? Because we weren't back at Belmont yet. I was home.
Right.
Yeah, I blew it all back at Kentucky Downs, so it didn't really matter. So I didn't. I want to make a case for Betsy Blue, though she has had good trips. But Goodnight Olive ran huge last time. Couldn't she be the other horse?
She got beat by a loose on the lead Fouette the time before.
Right.
Yeah.
Well, but she was on the rail too.
Right.
So she was on the good rail too.
Right.
I wish she would. If she had been 3 wide, if she had been wide 2 back, I might have flirted with the idea of putting her on top in here.
Really?
But yeah, I got a little love for her. You ever seen the movie Betty Blue? Betty Blue has quite. It's a French movie. It's the same guy who made Diva. He's
Okay.
just playing in film for him actually. Carl Knowledge is playing at film for him when we get
Well,
back.
Tally
from
Lynch
Saratoga.
getting Elegant Speaker back.
Well, if Gary Barber's smart to give the horse back to Natalia Lynch, because this, by the way, I nominate Natalia Lynch for a Eclipse Award, a little late, for claiming this horse for 45, making about 100, and then selling the horse for 200. She should get an eclipse for
Well,
that.
she might be eligible. There's like the Academy Awards where it was just too late in the year to be eligible for
Well,
2021.
one was in 22.
Yeah.
And she sold the horse in 22.
You make a great point.
Thank you. I appreciate it. It means a lot. That
Yeah.
is, I just don't know.
She made $300,000 with the source in about 7 weeks.
Yeah, no, maybe less.
Maybe less.
Maybe less. Maybe 6 weeks. Yeah, sales usually like the second or third week of January.
Right.
And the La Verdad, where she ran that good second to Bank Sting, she had the racetrack so much in her favor that day. It's a dressed-up race. But I thought she's a little bit interesting in here. And, yeah, you know, like Mischievous Diane, who you have third, she's just so last time was the time. We'll take a look at her.
But not for nothing, Andy. I mean, is there not really a lot of speed in this race? I think she can. I mean, she's going to have to duplicate her last effort, but she carried her 2-year-old form over. I mean, she improved 5 buyer points off of the 6-month break, a day shy of 6 months. I know she was able to control on the front end and just kind of run away from these horses. But, I mean, is she going to face a ton of pressure early on? I mean, and even if a horse like Short Summer Dress, the
She's got to
solid
go.
one,
She's got to go.
she's got to go.
She's got to go. And Smash Ticket will be sitting third. It was a trainer licensing thing last time with Smash Ticket. Nick Tamaro texted me.
Oh, okay.
So
there you go.
that's why she was scratched. So no issue with her. See what happens. I'm curious to see Smash Ticket because I imagine they're going to use this race as a prep, hopefully, for the
For the
Prioress.
test.
No, Prioress. Test in 2
Prioress.
weeks.
Oh, it said,
Test in Whitney Day.
I forgot it's in July. I forgot
It's
we're in
there.
July already. Please.
That thing going on. It's got a life of its own, I think, going on.
Look at-
There is a...
Did you start looking at my hair again?
I can't get past it. I told you, I got massive hair envy. Race number 9, the Susie O'Kane. Of course, she passed away this year. Condolences to her loved ones, and we have a race name for her. So she's a constant figure around here and big player in the New York breds. So there was no chance you weren't picking She's a Me.
No, zero.
Zero.
We're in the
Take a look at which race are we going to look at her last time. When she
Last
finished
time?
second to Making My Move. Go ahead.
I get my rider changed to Joel Rosario here, which I can. It's hard to resist. I know she comes off a couple of second place finishes, and she's starting to get in the look of one of these second-itis horses, 3 for 5 second in her career, with the lone maiden win first time on the turf. But I have to think if she runs one of her last 2 races without any improvement third off the bench, she's going to be really tough.
Yeah, I picked her second, sort of more by default, because I didn't like anybody else in here. But she can obviously win. Great opening week for Clement.
Yeah.
Clement Stable and Chad Brown tied with 4 wins each after 4 days. Long, long way to go. I like Classic Lynn in this race. We'll show her beating Rush, who, by the way, actually ran much better than I would have expected.
Another greatest trip the other day.
Yes, another, maybe not the greatest of rides. This is a 2-year-old race. This horse is running a figure as a 2-year-old race that only needs mild improvement to be right there. Joe Sharp, we'll show you after this a stat on Joe Sharp with his numbers, 6 to 12 month layoff, essentially 180 to 360 days. In turf routes, his numbers are exceptional. She absolutely destroyed this field. I mean, she just crushed those horses. Joe has great numbers off layoffs. I like this horse. I like her today.
Okay.
I think she's going to win. Lisa's Vision. A lot of people I know like Lisa's Vision.
I'm sorry?
A lot of people I know like Lisa's Vision. And I don't say she can't win. Here's a stat for Jorge Abreu that is a little unpleasant. You know who the
Oof.
only winner was in this?
Runaway Rumor?
Wow. And shouldn't have won. Manon
Right.
got a terrible
Manon.
got a terrible trip behind
Yep.
her. Runaway Rumor falling apart this year bothers me. She was such a good horse last
Yeah.
year. She just doesn't seem to be able to run anymore. It's a shame. So good. It's hard with fillies and mares sometimes, especially.
Like that, huh? Runaway Rumor. Where'd that come? That went through the fog for that one.
That was impressive. Yeah, they get cut right through the hair for it.
I know. You gotta leave the hair alone, man.
I want to make a bet with you. You've got Salib third and my horse fourth. Can we bet a lunch or two? I'll take the 4.
Better lunch.
1, okay.
Isn't Solib gone? I mean, I guess Lisa's Village, you gotta just.
Gone from the finish, yeah. I think
That's unbelievable.
Salib's loss last time was humiliating. And don't forget, the horse that finished third got disqualified, should have won by 3 lengths.
Hold on a second. Humiliating? I mean, she took pressure from the bell. She went pretty fast. And I know that turf course was playing fast, but She took a lot of pressure. You don't feel like she took a lot of pressure last time? I don't know.
You would have liked Radiant Gem in this race?
No, I wouldn't have liked Radiant Gem.
I
in
know
this
you wouldn't
race.
have. That's what I'm saying.
This guy
I
looks-
love the name Dufresne.
Andy
Uncaptured.
Dufresne. Andy
Uncaptured.
Dufresne.
Uncaptured.
Fantastic.
It's tremendous, right? There's a great name. There's a great horse Tomorrow.
Seu Antonio.
No, there's
I
a.
know.
There, what's you know the horse Tomorrow? No, Tomorrow. Not only is there
Oh, Barzini.
no, there's another one. I think the Dam.
The same horse? It's a Sunny Dan. The
No,
damn
there's
Sunny,
a different
right?
horse.
Different horse.
There's a great.
I didn't see
I'm gonna
anything.
find. I'm gonna. You know what? I'm gonna tell you the name. Hang on. Let
All
me. We got some time, right? You like it when we do nothing,
Yeah,
and
I
do
don't-
stupid stuff, which is
course.
most of the time with us. You can guess on this one at home. I actually didn't get it right away. I didn't get it right away, and I just watched the movie.
Will I get this?
In the fourth race, there's a horse named Clear the Deck. No, Clear the Deck. Last time it ran, it lost to Mardukas. What movie is Mardukas from? Jonathan Mardukas.
So it's funny because for me, there's two Mardukas. Jonathan Mardukas from Midnight Run.
That's it.
Hank Mardukas is from a movie called I Love You Man with
Yeah, Kevin
Seth Rogen. No, not Seth Rogen, the other one. Jason Segel,
And-
Paul Rudd.
Yeah.
Hank Mardukas is, what's his name? He's a character actor. He's good.
It's got to be from
He
Midnight
played
Run,
he
though,
played
right?
the yeah. I mean, I'll ask Ron
The
Moquett.
Duke.
The Duke. Yeah.
that movie.
I didn't know you
That movie-
had money.
It's so great. Race number
Got to
10.
change you $1,000 bill. Guess I'm walking.
Race number 10 has a dearth of form to go on.
Dearth.
And
SAT went on a Wednesday.
We use dearth in the show.
We have-
dearth
we
is
have-
one of the few words I use that everybody else hasn't stolen.
we
from me.
usually wait on a Saturday.
By the way, dubious.
That's your word.
And
I can't hear
everybody's-
that word without thinking of you, which scares me
Now,
because a guy like me
Maggie
hears dubious a lot.
claims that she's big on plethora before me, and I'm gonna
I'm
give her
giving
that.
Maggie plethora.
Well,
I'm giving you.
You know where
you're
the greatest,
the dubious
the greatest
king.
plethora is. It was an old David Letterman. He used to always talk about a veritable plethora. Anyway, we'll look at super quality and rugged union.
What's my word? Pizza?
Come on, you're looking like $1 million over here. Stop.
$1 million ain't what it used to be, Andy.
It's okay. You were looking like $20. Now you look like $1 million. So it's good enough for me.
I don't know about that, but
I'm trying to be
you make a
complimenting you,
great
and you
point.
won't even take it. I guess I prefer rugged union of the two horses here, but don't there just have to be better horses than the horses out of this race?
Not for me. See ya.
So to be fair, didn't Starry Night run okay the other day? Did she run like third or fourth in that
I
race?
don't recall.
I thought she might have run okay.
I
in
do
that.
not recall, sir. No recuerda.
By the way, there was no chance that the Big
None.
A wasn't going to take Bill Mott in here.
0. First time turf. Dan was over 2, but this is a tourist. One of the two Sibs
Ben
to
was
have
over
tried the
3
turf
was
won.
over 3 on the turf.
Over 3 on the turf?
You have to be careful when you look up horses.
No, I have 3.
Okay.
I have a 3.
The reason you often get these wrong,
The
and
3
you're-
dumped into those zeros on the
fine,
40.
the reason you get it wrong is that if you look, if the PPs, if you look up pedigrees, they'll show the PP of the horse. They always leave the top race out. So they'll show the horse, 3 for 9. The last race was in the turf, and it won.
10.
It's really 4 for 10.
4 for 10,
So you always
okay.
have to look at that.
Right, yeah. One of the two Sibs
It's
won on
important
the
piece of
turf.
information to know.
Yeah, in a race like this where you're crying out for a stranger, you know I'm going to Mott and
Private
Rosario.
purchase last time. They are dumping the horse, but the horse did run for for 26,000. But must have run for the tag the first time, right? Because there's no N. It's a maiden optional claimer.
Right.
I got the horse second. I'm with you as well on this horse. I wasn't sure if you'd put this horse or Naked and Famous on top. Now, Naked and Famous is Port Authority. It's got to be like the Naked Cowboy or something. Is that the story?
No, I was at 15 Church. Rudy and the team won a race that day, and Libby Imperio and Sofia Suarez, who they're part owners of Bella Sofia, were at
We're a
15
full
Church.
service operation here.
We were at 15 Church, and they bet me $20 that they couldn't get Naked and Famous through. And 10 days later, I had to pay $20.
They got a horse named No Balls. Naked and Famous could get through.
Yeah. Well, I didn't know about Nobles at that
Just the
time.
facts,
I
man.
found out about Naked and Famous and gave Libya $20.
Why not Naked and Famous? What's
I
wrong with
just
that
didn't
name?
think Naked was going to get in at this time in
Naked?
the parlance of our times, Andy. That's a little Big Lebowski for you. I didn't think it was getting through. You want me to tell you?
Naked?
It cost me a double sawbuck. It wasn't the worst 20 I ever lost.
Did you pay it?
I had a beautiful meal. I paid it right away.
just checking.
10 days later, she showed me the Libby came.
Libby,
Libby was very proud about
I'll be
that.
clearing this one up.
Libby
next time
was
I see
very
you.
proud about getting that 20 from me. I signed it too.
We do have to go. We're about out of time.
All right. You got anything else?
I'm betting Big Woo. Yeah, I'm going to talk about the horse I picked.
Oh, Big Woo.
You okay if I talk about the horse I
Dude,
like?
that's probably a Ric Flair thing.
Well, no. First, we'll start by looking at Blinding Light, who you have fourth and I have nowhere. This is one of the strangest things I've ever seen. This horse debuts with a second, with a 74 buyer, cost $110,000.
Didn't take a dime.
And it did. It was 6-1. It was 6-1. There were horses in the race, so actually it did get bet. Regardless of that, this horse ran. I don't think too many people expected this horse's second start to be in for a tag on the turf with really no turf pedigree at all. Negative turf pedigree. This is the weirdest thing I've ever seen.
It's a strange one.
And I don't want any part of this horse. Which brings me to Big Woo. Big Woo actually took money first time out, and now it wasn't off the turf race, but nonetheless, was still 5-1 and 1 1/16. And I mean, now I'm assuming a private purchase. I believe this is a private purchase on this horse, and now shows up in a turf race here. There really isn't a well, the dam did lose the turf, but ran a 77 buyer, so she handled the grass. So there's enough turf pedigree to use her. What is she doing here? Doing here? What is he doing here? Somebody paid to ship this horse to Saratoga? If they didn't pay because they thought they could get the money, right? Don't you think this horse's presence in this race is a little bit weird?
A little bit.
You know, so and they tried to run the turf first time, was eased, but they tried to run long. I don't know. I think this horse is a little bit of an odor to me. So I thought this horse could be interesting in race number 10.
That
Anyway,
about does it.
Great first weekend here. Looking forward to this week as well. The Horseshoe, somebody from the Horseshoe the other night there, they say they had their best Saturday ever, better than Travers Days.
So Greg Wolf and I were here doing America's Day at the races for the Middlelands Pace coverage. If you have a chance, go back and watch. I forget the name of the race. Just go watch Bulldog
gotta
Hanover
go.
set the world record.
We gotta go.
But the music here and the music there was we had a nice little background stuff, Greg and I, throughout the night.
But nobody was here, so no contact buzz, like normal.
Correct.
Anyway, head over to Naira Bets. Thank you, Anthony.
Thank you. No, thank you, Mr. Acavano.
Acavado, isn't it?
Acavano.
Vano?
Yeah,
Sure.
I think it's Acavano.
Gotta look it up. Everybody knows where that movie is. Not everybody, but there are scenes of the Meadowlands in that movie,
Yes,
right?
there are.
Joe Piscopo,
Piscopo and Danny DeVito.
Danny DeVito, right. What's that movie called? Wise Guys?
Wise Guys, Captain Lou Albano.
All right. Just listen to Joel. Toga 200. Use promo code Toga 200. We'll match the $200 of your initial deposit. 6 times points Wednesdays and Thursdays. Saratoga this week. I would opt in or at least head on over. Don't know if you have to, but can't hurt to look. And last but not least, Saratoga Live, 1 to 6:30 today on FS2. Thank you for joining us. Day number 5 of the 40-day Saratoga meet is about to get underway with our first steeplechase race. The Grade 1 AP Smithwick, Joe Clancy, and Liza Hendricks will be joining me to discuss that. But Johnny I up next with a reprise. The Scratches and Changes. Enjoy another wonderful day here in Saratoga.
For almost 150 years, the Saratoga name has been synonymous with the finest quality, sustainably sourced spring water available anywhere. Saratoga carries on the rich tradition of its forefathers by crafting each stunning blue glass bottle with the same attention to detail and care that has been its hallmark for generations. Visit SaratogaSpringwater.com today or ask for us by name at your local market or restaurant. Saratoga Spring Water. Make every day exquisite.
Hello, racing fans, and once again, welcome to Saratoga. Bright sunshine on this Wednesday. The main track fast, the turf courses are firm. The portable rail is up at 12 feet on the melon. and at 9 feet on the inner turf. No carryover in today's pick 6. In today's first race, which is the Grade 1 AP Smithwick Memorial Steeplechase, numbers 2, 4, and